But a lot
Asians
of
are
them
the
come by
second plane and then overstay their visas.
They overstay their visas. They overstay their visas, so they're undocumented. The Europeans that come here that overstay their visas are undocumented, but they don't come across the southern border. So I think there's a very clear message as to what this president wants the look of a criminal migrant to look like, what an undocumented migrant. And I think that's racist.
They were lies. And as I said before, all the accusations, they should be handled in a court of law.
So you believe the lawsuit should go forward?
Yes, I believe that. And because to accuse somebody without evidence, it's very hurtful.
Sunny Hostin never imagined that one conversation on The View would turn her life upside down. She thought she was just giving her usual legal take, breaking down the risks public figures face when their reputations come under scrutiny. But what she didn't see coming was the firestorm that followed. Within days, headlines exploded with her name, and social media was in a frenzy. Some were defending her, while others were calling for her cancellation. But nothing hit harder than the legal notice that landed on her desk. A $100 million lawsuit from none other than the Melania Trump. It wasn't just a legal battle, it was a full-blown crisis. As the pressure mounted, network executives scrambled behind the scenes, trying to figure out if they should back Sunny or cut ties before the situation got worse. Co-hosts were reportedly split on how to handle the controversy, with some supporting her and others staying silent. Meanwhile, legal experts weighed in, debating whether Sunny had actually crossed the line or if this was just another case of a powerful figure using lawsuits to silence critics. But then, just as speculation reached its peak, Sunny made a move that no one saw coming. She left the country. One minute, she was on The View, standing her ground, and the next, she was gone. And the way she disappeared, it only raised more questions.
I think she hates him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so we can all agree on that. That's a given. I also think that she wants to take him out. She does not want to be the first lady anymore.
They agree with you.
She doesn't want to be the first lady. She destroyed the Rose Garden. Who hates Christmas? Melania Trump hates Christmas. She doesn't want to decorate for Christmas. She doesn't want anything to do with him. She doesn't want to sleep in the same room with him. She can't tolerate him.
Allegedly.
And she does.
Yeah, how do you know all this?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know all this.
Allegedly. That's why I say allegedly.
It all started as just another episode of The View. Sunny Hostin, a former federal prosecutor, was doing what she always does, breaking down legal issues and explaining how public figures navigate scrutiny. That day's discussion focused on how celebrities and politicians manage their reputations in court, and at some point, Melania Trump's name came up. Sunny spoke about how public figures, especially those in high-profile positions, often find themselves in legal battles when they make claims that can be challenged in court. She mentioned how the legal system allows scrutiny of public statements and branding, especially when someone presents themselves in a certain way and benefits financially from that image. She didn't think much of it. After all, this wasn't a new topic for The View, and similar discussions had happened countless times before, but this time something was different. Maybe it was the specific wording she used, maybe it was the way the media picked up the story, or maybe Melania Trump had just had enough. Because within hours, the backlash started rolling in. Social media exploded with debates. Some people accused Sunny, saying she was not doing her job. Others, especially Trump supporters, saw it as a direct attack on Melania, accusing Sunny of spreading falsehoods under the guise of legal analysis. A person commented saying, "We should start suing every legal analyst for giving false opinions." Another one added, "You can't just throw out comments about someone like Melania Trump on national TV without expecting consequences. Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from accountability." But what Sunny thought was just another legal discussion turned into something way more serious because Melania Trump wasn't having it. Melania's legal team wasted no time firing back. Within hours, statements were released condemning Sunny's comments, calling them defamatory and damaging to Melania's reputation. They insisted that Sunny had crossed a line by suggesting things that were legally and factually baseless. And then the bombshell dropped, a $100 million defamation lawsuit. The lawsuit didn't just name Sunny, it also targeted ABC and The View, accusing them of knowingly allowing defamatory remarks to air without fact-checking. Melania's lawyers claimed that the statements hurt her personal brand and suggested that there were financial damages at stake. The media erupted. Some legal analysts argued that Melania's lawsuit was a strategic move to silence critics. After all, public figures often face tough scrutiny, and lawsuits like these can be seen as intimidation tactics. Others, however, pointed out that defamation is a serious claim, and if Melania could prove in court that Sunny's comments harmed her reputation with false information, the case could hold weight. ABC was now in a tough spot. Would they stand by Sunny and fight the lawsuit, or would they distance themselves from the controversy? Insiders started whispering about tense meetings happening behind the scenes, with some executives worried that this lawsuit could turn into an expensive legal war. And just when Sunny thought things couldn't get worse, the backlash became unbearable.
This is not normal. And is it really shocking that all this egregious violence goes against my husband?
The moment news of the lawsuit hit, social media went into a frenzy. It wasn't just about Sunny Hostin anymore. This had become a full-blown cultural debate. On one side, people were calling for her to be fired, claiming she had gone too far with her legal analysis. The hashtag #CancelSunny started trending, with critics arguing that The View had let its host spread misinformation unchecked for too long. But Sunny wasn't without support. Just as quickly as the backlash started, another wave of voices pushed back with the definition of the bill. Many saw the lawsuit as an attack on free speech, especially since public figures like Melania Trump are often discussed in the media. Then things got even more intense as celebrities jumped into the conversation. Megyn Kelly, a former Fox News anchor, called the lawsuit a ridiculous overreach, suggesting it was a way to intimidate the media. Joy Behar, Sunny's co-host, stood behind her, saying The View had always been about discussing tough topics, and this was no different.
Yesterday was Barbara Walters' birthday, I believe.
Yes.
And when I was watching this, I thought if Barbara were here today, she would have said to her, Melania, your husband had sex with a porn star while you were home with a baby.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Meghan McCain, a former co-host with a history of clashing with Sunny, had a different take. She called the lawsuit predictable and hinted that this was bound to happen with the way The View operates. Even Kim Kardashian jumped in, posting about the importance of protecting freedom of speech in the media, though she didn't name Sunny directly. Meanwhile, ABC was panicking. The network was facing mounting pressure to make a decision. Should they stand by Sunny and fight the lawsuit, or cut ties to protect themselves? Insiders revealed that tense meetings were happening behind closed doors, with executives scrambling to figure out their next move. Then came the biggest hit. Advertisers started pulling out. Major sponsors backed away from The View, not wanting to get caught up in the legal mess. This was a nightmare for ABC, as losing ad revenue meant losing millions. It wasn't just about one lawsuit anymore. This was starting to look like a financial disaster. With her career on the line, the pressure became too much, and that's when Sunny made her most shocking move yet. As the backlash raged on, rumors started swirling. Sunny Hostin. At first, ABC tried to downplay the situation, saying she was just on vacation. A spokesperson claimed she was taking some personal time away from the show, but the response only fueled speculation. Then, paparazzi photos surfaced. Sunny was spotted at a European airport, dressed in dark clothes, moving quickly through security with her bags in tow. The images sent the internet into a meltdown. Was she escaping the lawsuit, or just trying to lay low until the heat died down? Some reports suggested she was heading to Spain, while others claimed she was seen in France. The mystery only deepened when The View continued airing without her, offering no clear explanation for her absence. Whatever the reason, one thing was clear: Sunny wasn't sticking around to face the fire.
I'm reluctant to comment on other people's marriages because I don't want anybody to comment on mine. But they've been married 19 years. And in my experience, people that have been married that long are not necessarily polar opposites, right? They have a lot of commonality. And so I think these two are simpatico.
Now that Sunny Hostin has left the country, the biggest question is, what's next? For starters, can she actually fight this lawsuit from abroad? The short answer is yes, but it's complicated. U.S. courts don't just pause because someone isn't physically present. Since the lawsuit names Sunny, ABC, and The View, legal teams will still be working behind the scenes. Her lawyers can file motions, negotiate settlements, and even appear in court on her behalf, but here's the real issue. If Sunny refuses to return, things could get messy. Melania Trump's legal team is reportedly pushing hard for Sunny to address the claims head-on. If she stays overseas too long, it could hurt her credibility. A judge might even demand her presence for certain proceedings, putting her in a tough spot. If she refuses to comply, she risks losing by default, and that could mean financial disaster. Meanwhile, ABC and The View are facing their own legal nightmares. This lawsuit isn't just about Sunny, it directly impacts the network. Legal experts say ABC could be held liable if the court finds that The View allowed defamatory comments to air. That's why networks often enforce strict legal guidelines for on-air discussions, especially when it comes to public figures. And let's not forget the fallout from advertisers leaving. If sponsors continue pulling their support, ABC might have no choice but to cut ties with Sunny for good, whether she fights the lawsuit or not. Some industry insiders believe that even if she returns, her days on The View could be numbered. So what about Melania? Does she actually have a case? Here's where things get interesting. Legal analysts are divided. Some say Melania is well within her rights to defend her reputation, especially if she believes false claims were made about her. Others argue that as a public figure, she's subject to scrutiny, meaning she'd have to prove actual malice in court. Winning a $100 million defamation case is extremely difficult, but that doesn't mean Melania's team isn't serious. They've hired top-tier lawyers, and they seem determined to make an example out of this situation. But is this really about winning? Some believe Melania's goal isn't just financial. It's about sending a warning to the media. If she successfully pressures ABC into a settlement or forces an on-air retraction, it could discourage other networks from discussing her in the future. Will Sunny return to face the lawsuit? Will The View survive the fallout? And could Melania actually walk away with a massive victory? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. That's it for today. See you in the next video.